Well, good morning, everybody. Let me get my notes up here. There we go. Make sure my volume's up. Yep. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for what is this? The 30th day of March, 2020. Well, Wednesday's the 1st of April, so I'm hoping one more week and my chickens can go outside. We're going to build a structure for them to we're going to stick it inside the actual run next to the chicken coop, but they're not really ready to be introduced yet to the girls that are out there. But they are ready to go out there, so we're going to get them used to one another. So we're going to put up a little pen within the pen, basically. And my husband's going to put together a small house for them to be in, and because we're going to have them out probably in another week. We've had to separate them into 3 boxes now because they're pecking on the feathers out of one group, out of the white ones, the light Brahmas. I have 3 light Brahmas, and they're white, and they actually have feathers on their feet, which is interesting. And they're so cute. They're little, but one of them hardly has very many feathers on him. They've taken so many, and we didn't notice because there were so many in that other deal. And we saw it starting on the back side of them, but we didn't notice on the front. And so there's just too many in there. There's 14 of them in the trough. So I've got them separated now into 3 different boxes. And so the white ones are growing their feathers back. And I put a couple black ones. They're the Australorps, the black ones. I put some of those in, a couple of those in with them. And then I took the Wellsummers and I put them in their own. There's 3 Wellsummers in their own deal, their own box, and the rest of them are all in the original stock trough. So I have 3 boxes of chickens in my porch, on my porch, my back porch. So we're just in that transition. It's not warm enough for them to be outside. It's supposed to even snow on Wednesday, so that's the way it goes, I guess, unless they're playing an April Fool joke on us, but I don't think so. We are at 3,000 feet above sea level, so we're on the high desert, and even though desert sounds interesting and warm and all of that, it's not necessarily, not unless it's the summertime. Other than that, we're right in the mountains, basically, so it stays cold for a while. That's why you can't put any of your tender plants out right now, not at all, even though it looks tempting, you can't. So I hope everybody was able to have a good weekend as best we can. They say it's not that you're stuck inside, but you're safe inside. Saturday's our day to go out, and I think that I don't know, the feed store has a vulnerable person's half hour. It was an hour, but now it's a half hour from 8:30 to 9. So we'll probably call an order in and go pick it up or something, because you can do that. You can order it online. So if I need any more chicken food, I'll do that this weekend. Otherwise, we have to go to the store and get some things that we can't order online. So the perishables and things. And so there's a few things we need to pick up, but other than that, and we also have to take eggs this weekend, assuming all is still a go that way and nobody's sick. So anyway, we're just trying to limit our going out once every 2 weeks, and less often if we can avoid going into a store. But I don't know. It's been interesting, hasn't it? I hope everybody's staying in contact with people online, on the phone, anything, over Skype, whatever you have to do. Check in on people that are older. It's not easy being our age and older. If nobody checks in on us, it just feels weird. It's like nobody wants to see if we're okay. And right now, that's the last thing we ought to be, letting people in our age group feel. So make sure you're checking in with your parents, your grandparents, if they're still alive. This is just a time to come together. So instead of, just trying to, I know that we're all, trying to socially distance here and stay safe in our homes. Oregon's has a stay-at-home order right now, and unless you absolutely have to go out. And we're lucky. We have 5 acres, so we have a large area we can stay home on, and we're not really going to run into anybody. But at the same time, not everybody has that. And if you're in an apartment building or something like that, it's risky right now. So stay inside and do whatever you can do to stay, as calm and as focused on the future as you can be. Moon's in the second house, Gemini right now. I did this for 8:36 this morning. Ideas are flowing today surrounding opportunities and resources, but the idea is to share that with others. Some people really literally don't know what to do right now. And so whatever tips they can pick up from others online, then, that's going to help. Moon semi-square Uranus. Try to approach problems from a new perspective, obviously. A square with Neptune. If you can do whatever you can to soothe your nerves, if being on Twitter is too much, spend as little time as possible and then try to focus on other things, listening to some soothing music. YouTube has got a lot of different meditations that you can access. I would do that. Whatever you have to do to stay aligned and calm and in a good frame of mind right now. It's a challenge, though, isn't it? Sun, 12th house Aries, contemplate what's happening and develop plans for the future. Still, semi-square with Venus, go with the flow, reassess frequently, and focus on what's possible right now. Instead of living in the, I can't do this or I can't do that, focus on what's possible right now. That it's the little tiny baby steps, even if you've just got to go, every, by 5-minute intervals or less if you have to. Whatever it takes to keep you in that frame of mind, you're going to have to do. Let's see. And if you're not paying attention to the CDC, well, you know what? Get on the team, folks. You're going to have to. This is a life and death situation, so don't be stupid about it. Mercury, 11th house Pisces, intuition is strong. Again, you're going to be exploring interactions with others online. Adopt other ways to learn right now. Online courses, semi-square Jupiter, between that and Mercury, is telling us that Mercury's about communication. Jupiter's about expansion. Everything is made bigger with Jupiter. So I think that, and usually Jupiter's effect is beneficial, but if it's expanding something that's negative, then, get out of the way, basically, because it's, kind of a big influence on anything, no matter what it's, aspecting with or modifying. Venus, first house Taurus, again, nurture the feminine side, nurture one another. Just become a care bearer right now. Let's see, try to control your urge for freedom, though, by channeling into expansive thought. If you do have a backyard or property, walk around that. Get outside if you can. If you can't do so safely, though, then don't. If you have a balcony, you can go out on that. Just get outside and try to experience nature in other words, try to have a normal moment if you can. Mars, 10th house Capricorn. Again, you can, life direction is changing possibly for you. Trine Pluto, see patterns that are going to inform your perspective. Use your intuition, though. If you feel like somebody needs support, give it. Obviously, it's going to be either at a distance or something, but you can find a way to do it. This is a time to think outside the box for all sorts of reasons, right? Jupiter, 9th house Capricorn, expand horizons. Again, you could enroll in a course or just do a lot of Googling to learn different things right now. There was an idea online, and I've been sharing it, about maybe taking a virtual tour around an arboretum or a botanical garden or something. Go online and search for that. Just something to get your mind out of the immediate headspace that it's in. Let's see. Sun still, 10th house Aquarius, reassessment of life direction. Some perceptions may change. Look, this is a difficult thing right now. You've got a segment of the population that supports the president, and the rest of us think he's a complete idiot. And unfortunately, he gave away our personal the stockpile of PPE supplies. He gave that to China on February 7th, I believe it was. So that's what they're reporting now. That's why we don't have any to give away to the different hospitals, because he gave them away to another country. That's what he did. Told everybody in a meeting on February 5th, oh no, no more funds were necessary. No, nothing. We have everything we need, as they're giving it away to China. Let that one sink in. So this is what we have to do. We have, Saturn in the 12th house of Aquarius. Aquarius, you're going to think outside the box anyway. If something's conventional, you're likely to come in and be unconventional. So right now, perceptions are going to change for a lot of people that were once supporters of this man. They're beginning to see that he's actually killing people, that his decisions anyway are killing people. So basically, you're going to see some of this change now. And unfortunately, it took this. There went a card on the floor. Well, it's the Knight of Cups. It's something that didn't. Maybe you didn't plan on changing your mind about this guy, but I think maybe now you're starting to see that he doesn't have your best interest at heart, because he doesn't either know. He either lacks the intelligence to understand this, or he's angry and he's getting even because of the impeachment. So either way, we're not safe in his hands. All right. So if you have a governor that's telling you to put a stay-at-home order in place, then maybe you've got one that actually is making some effort to understand the situation and to protect people, because that's where we need to be right now. Uranus, 12th house Taurus, be open to change and new experience. Break free from old patterns. And the patterns you need to break free from are oftentimes what's going on in here. We still have a semi-square with Neptune. It's a medium influence now. It was extreme for quite a while, very strong influence for quite a while. It's been a medium one now for the last month or so. But there's deception going on. Obviously, he didn't tell us that he gave away all of the personal protective equipment for the nurses and the doctors on the front lines. He never revealed that. He's trying to suggest yesterday that nurses and doctors are walking out the back door with them and selling them, I guess selling them or something on the black market, or doing what with them? I don't know. That's not happening. That's not happening. And yet he has to try to deflect blame onto everyone else. This is an example of the Uranus semi-square Neptune, guard against deception, or the long-played con. When you vote a con artist into the presidency, what do you think is going to happen? You think he's seriously equipped to deal with anything like this? Oh no, he's fired everybody. And the only people he has left are toadies and yes people, who can't tell us what we need to know and get us what we need in time. And so now he says, if we can keep it under 1,000 deaths, I'll call that a win. Really? You think so? Do you think voters will in November? Oh, I don't think so. You see, the truth is being revealed. The long played con is over. We see you for who you are. And it's not good. It's get him out of there. Remove him from office now. Do a quick impeachment. Convict him. Get him out of there so that we can at least try to save what's left. That's the place we're at right now, right? So whether or not the Republicans will signal that they're ready to do that, I don't know. But, right now Pluto's in the 9th house of Capricorn. They're going to have to see the truth of themselves during this time. And they need to wake up to what really matters, because I think that we're pretty well doing that, right? I mean, I think it's getting real for a lot of people. Oh, not the ones that seem to want to go to these mega churches on the weekends, have hundreds of people in there. What, they opened Liberty University, and what, a dozen students have come down with this or showing symptoms? How stupid. All it would have taken is a month of this, and we could have flattened the curve right away, but oh no. No. We have an idiot who's going to tell us, oh, everything's fine, don't worry, it's cool. No. Chiron, 12th house Aries, last one here, and then we'll go on to the reading. Um, this is a time where the space may open to heal others. You know, we need to let go of emotional past hurts. If this is a time where, you know, we're still struggling with one another, we need to drop all of that and realize that right now we just need to survive. That's all we need to do. We need to get past this. We need to as soon as that virus flattens, then, you know, life is going to return to somewhat normal. We might have to still take precautions out there, you know, since people like to spit on packages, deliverers do, and people like to lick on things in the grocery store. I can tell you right now, my husband and I are going to be wearing gloves for the foreseeable future every time we go. I'll never trust a grocery store again, and not the store, but some of the people in it. I'll never trust again, not after what I've seen. So I don't know. You know, maybe maybe the masks won't be necessary, but or bandanas tied around your face, but gloves? Oh, I think so. People don't know how to behave, evidently. They lost that. So we'll see. Let's go ahead, though, and look at the first three cards. If we need any more, we'll take them. If this is your first time here, I do open with the astrology. I think it's important, especially right now, so that we can get some heads up as to, you know, what's going on. But, you know, again, this is just a very weird time, and we're having to do some things that we're not accustomed to, and it's taking some time to adjust. And that's where I think staying connected with people is so important. So thank you for coming here today and staying connected with me. I do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and take our first three cards. I'm going to do, as everyone who's been here before knows, I do them randomly. So I'm going to take the 13th one each time. Normal readings, I don't. But for the purposes of this, I do, just so, excuse me, so we can stay as random as possible. So let's get started. Well, we have the Five of Wands. Five is about change. The Five of Wands is not usually read as a really negative card. It's usually playful struggle. So just sort of the things maybe we're having to do to cope and get by these days, you know, while we're waiting out the virus at home, staying away from people. I don't know about you, but I don't want that test. That's I saw a diagram of how far they go up. Oh my God. It's like they send it all the way up. Oh God. It's like you can have this or you can stay home. I'm gonna stay home. Here we have the Four of Pentacles, the problem here that we're dealing with. The king holding on to his success, holding on to his wealth, holding on to his power at the expense of the kingdom. There you have is likely the focal point for today's reading. You know, understand that he only has his own interests at heart. He doesn't care about the rest of us. That's clear. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sent 170 broken ventilators to the state of California that they had to then fix, which I guess they're going to be fixed by today. But we heard that as well. This man is someone who gets even in a way that a president just can't. You can't. He thinks that you're supposed to, you know, kiss his derriere in order that you get anything from him. No, that's not what a president is. So you can see why, you know, he's not going to give states supplies that they need, which is why it needs to be taken out of his hands, which is why he needs to go away. You see, if he's going to hurt people this way, if he's going to ultimately kill by the decisions, first responders, who's going to be there to take care of us if we need them? If then we don't, the third card. There's no way to apply reason to him. He doesn't hear it. It's not possible. Queen of Cups. So, okay, let's have a drink of tea because I don't know what's in my throat. It's the morning. I get up and I do this. So it hasn't gotten out of my sleep time, crap hasn't gotten out of my lungs yet. So anyway, I don't like to do this in the day later on in the daytime. I like to get it over with in the morning because I'm fresh and I'm thinking and I'm not jaded by all of the other things that I've been looking at and my focus is not scattered. So I like to do it in the morning. That way it just things seem to flow a little better than if I've got too much, that I'm thinking about. So now last Thursday I did not do the geomancy rune. I closed without doing it. So I did it afterwards and I put it in the notes. It was Carcer, which you didn't want to know that anyway. That's self-imprisonment, which is just kind of rubbing it in as to having to stay safe at home right now. So anyway, let's go ahead and we'll take the, see 4 and 5 is 9. So we've got an energy of completion, a 9 energy for the reading. We've got a 3 energy today. So that's catalytic and mind, body, spirit alignment. But let's look at this from the standpoint of the king. And we'll take a look at the card. You see this line of demarcation here? You see that in some of the tarot cards. You see them. Not all has it, but some sort of imply it. But usually it's a card that either has it or it doesn't. Excuse me. And how I interpret that is that was then and this is now, or I'm over here and you're over there. But there's definitely a line between what's going on one side of it and what's going on in the other. And in this case, what you have is a king who's hanging on to all of his wealth. He's stepping on it. He's holding it in his arms. He's displaying it on his head. So I feel comfortable with this being the president. He turns his back on the people. He's concerned only with his own stuff. Look at those eyes. They're almost demonic, aren't they? You can say that's New York City behind him. But in this case, it's the kingdom. He's a guy who hangs on to what's his. He can't acknowledge anything or anyone else. Everything is about self-dealing. What did he get for the 17.6 or 8 tons, almost 18 tons of personal protective equipment, masks, gowns, face masks, respirators, all of this stuff, right? Almost 18 tons of it was sent to China, flown to China. I remember when they did this and I thought, oh, how nice, that we're helping. Well, that's cool. No. And no, because he took the stockpile and gave our stockpile away. So what did he get? Looks like a load landed yesterday at JFK to New York City, and I would venture to guess that in all likelihood it was Governor Cuomo that got it, that arranged for it to come from there. If we're having to share supplies, that's awesome, but you gotta do that. And you got to do it in record time, right? Not now, not 3 months later. Details, right? They've known since December. We knew since December. We've been planning since December. Why couldn't he? Or maybe he did. He's just planning for something else. Money to go in his pocket. What's going on here? Because he's clearly hanging on to everything. And I think this is indicative of what the current guy's doing. So in the meantime, what are we doing? We're trying to figure it out. You see, nobody's really hitting one another. It's almost like we used to have a karate school, and we used to teach karate, and Sometimes we would do mass attacks, so you'd have one person in this was usually brown belt or black belt level. We didn't do it with the younger students, but brown belts and black belts would work on mass attacks. And so one person would stand in the middle and you'd have people coming in on them, and they're having to defend, right? It's fun. It really is fun. But if you're going to use, and usually we wouldn't use staffs, if we were going to use anything wooden, it would be a screama sticks or Sinawali sticks, where you got sticks in each hand and you're working with sticks basically. It's a really good workout. By the way, if you work with sticks, it's really cool. But anyway, the idea is to learn to protect yourself from, and of course, we would do it in a way that nobody got hurt, obviously, but still, you had to understand what it was like to be dealing with something and coming in over here and something dealing with that's coming in over here and maybe something back here that you don't see, right? So you have to learn how to navigate a situation like that. And in that case, in a martial arts school, is an attack situation, right? But here we're having to contend with a lot of stuff, right? That's really the energy of it. We have a lot of things going on. A lot of things are changing. A lot of things coming at us in different directions. Well, as Nancy put it, Donald fiddles. Our first responders are not taking the masks out the back door and doing something else with them. They're sewing buttons on their headbands to bring the elastic up onto the buttons instead of behind the ears, because they say their ears were breaking down while Donald fiddles. We have to reflect. We have to be the queen. We have to take our own authority here, use our own authority to reflect on our circumstances and to make the decisions that we need to make to nurture self and others in this time while we're trying to figure it out and renegotiate and rework the pattern of the very fundamental pattern of our lives. It's in chaos right now. And so we're trying to, in our own little way, find a way through that chaos while Donald fiddles. Let's go ahead and do a rune. I don't think we need any other cards. I think it's very clear right now. This is a day where we're figuring things out. We're discovering new truths. This new information about they sent all this stuff and what this actually meant in terms of our national stockpile. They did that this weekend. That came out. I don't know if it started coming out Friday or when, but it started coming out this weekend. And now we know. We know why. I kept saying to my husband, and I've said it online, I've said it in posts I've written, where's the stuff? Where's our stuff? What'd you do with it? Is it still there? Is it just sitting there and we can't get to it? Why can't somebody go break down the door of the stockpile? And I realize that's figurative, but why can't they go break down the door and go get it? Just go get it. Why can't we do that? It's because it's not there. That's why. And he's too cowardly. He's too thuggish to tell us. So what's he doing? See, I just don't buy that he's just stupid. I think he's doing it intentionally. I think he's doing it to get back for the impeachment. But here's the thing. He did the dirty deed that he needed to be impeached for. It's like now we're going to be punished for doing the job that we were supposed to do. It was just the Republican senators who didn't, who fell short, who now own what's going on now. But we have Elwaz. 19th rune of the Elder Futhark. Laguz, forward and reversed, basically. Elwaz is about flow. It's about, I want to look one thing up here on it, because there's something here. Oh, where are you? Oh, there you are. Oh, we got to go one more. Well, again, it's about water. It's the water element rune. It's about flow. It's about change. It's about momentum. But I wanted to draw this out. It's about binding toward mutual end. And it's about reciprocity as well. It's very similar to Manaz. I'll show you Manaz right next to it. Only with Manaz, it's the individual and society. And so, but it's still partnership. All right. So here you have Ewas, which is today's rune. Okay. But you see how similar it is to Manaz. Only with Manaz, you have Dagaz in the center. You also have Gebo in the center for balanced energy exchange. But you can see how we begin in Ewas and finalize that process in Manaz. At least that's how I see it. Basically, you're talking about the Merkaba. This could be, Ewas could be used in terms of astral travel. In other words, it could be a doorway into another realm, into an astral realm. You could use it as a focus. I did a bind rune where Ewas is the primary rune in it, and then there was some other things that I put in. I can't find it right now. It's in a box. But I got a couple different boxes I store those things in. But basically, it was for trance work. I also did another one where I used, I think, an omega sign, and I did my own sigil and I used that one as well, to just as a focus to visualize moving into it when you go into your trance work, basically, is what you're using it for. But today, we're looking at laguz, or flow, that comprises, well, both of them, but Ewas for today. We also see Kenaz, and you can either look at it in terms of raising your hands in supplication or the funneling of source energy into the moment. But there's Kenaz, turned that way. You can see on Manaz where it's turned in all directions. If you look at that and then extrapolate this over here, you can see that it's actually in all directions. So Spirit's informing the partnership process. But whereas Ewas is like two people coming together, two energies coming together in reciprocity, Manaz would be society coming together in collective purpose and shared purpose. So you kind of see the transition from one to the other. But basically, that's what we're trying to deal with right now. We're trying to deal with how do we navigate the lies and the deception and the equipment that's never coming kind of thing, at least not in time to save people. How do we deal with all of that? How do we deal with the new struggle in our lives while Donald fiddles? That's what this is. And we're going to do it by thinking outside the box. We're going to do it by nurturing self and others. Again, at a distance. I saw this one thing. It was so cool. You got this. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it may not be in this country, but it might. But it's a narrow street, right? And you've got all the houses that line, and you got the cars that are on the street, which I don't know why. I don't how you can even park there. But anyway. Because it really just gives you one lane to travel down, right, when you do that, but that's what happens. And anyway, everybody's out in their lawn chairs with, 20 feet between them, right, out in front of their houses. And I guess they did this WhatsApp group thing where they call one another. I don't know how WhatsApp works. I've never used it. But they're talking to everybody, and everybody comes out and they have a conversation outside, right? They're in their lawn chairs, far away from one another. But they're coming out and they're interacting with their neighbors during this time. So, it's cool. And it's just what we're doing. Let's take a look at the geomancy rune that I didn't do last time, that I did after the fact. We've got a single dot for fire. We got Puella, 2 dots for air, 1 for water, and 1 for earth. So Puella Puella and Pure, little boy and little girl energy. Puella's a little bit, I raised boys, and if you raise boys, then they lack impulse control. They do what they do, and I don't know. I'm not sure they ever lose that, but that's just me. But I think that with Puella, you're looking at a little bit different type of, instead of like a Mars and Scorpio type of existence or exchange or whatever, or energy with Puella, because they're complements of one another. This is Puella, this is Pure, so this is Puella. But you're talking about passive energy in the active energy in the fire, water, and earth lines, and a passive energy in the air lines. So what you have there with the two dots is you have someone who's a little bit flighty. I was a Puella growing up. Being a witch and an empath, you don't think of the world in the same way. You don't interact the same way. You have concerns that others simply do not. And so it's just one of those things. And so I was flighty, and I'm everywhere because I'm responding. That's before I learned what I was. I didn't know about the empath. I didn't understand that a lot of what I was experiencing was other people's stuff. And so when I'm being flighty and being here, there, and everywhere, it's because I'm reacting to what I'm experiencing. And we don't realize that. And so we think it's just us. But it's really this stuff we're feeling, right? And we don't know how to separate what that is from who we are. And so you end up being really flighty and everything. And so my mother used to call me flighty all the time. And I literally could, I gestured, I would knock things off, send them sailing. It was awful. So I understand, but when I was discovering geomancy and I started reading the different geomancy runes, I got to Puella and went, oh, that's me. I know that girl. But right now, use that scattered focus to check in with other people. Use it to nurture other people. Use it to let go of perceptions that have been plaguing you and that you didn't even realize were plaguing you. If you are still living in a dream about this guy, understand that this is all he cares about. He doesn't care. He turns his back to everything. He doesn't care. Yesterday, it was all about his ratings. Better than The Bachelor. Better than this. Better than that. Because that's all that's important right now, right? Right? No. Instead, we're going to have to be nurturing, both of self and others. We're going to have to use our own authority to negotiate through what's being said to us, bringing our emotions into a still point so that they're not so crazy that we can't function. Fear is something we're going to have to deal with, especially if we get sick. We don't know, right? The idea is hopefully you can hunker down and get through it at your home, and that you don't have to leave and go somewhere else to do that. It just increases your risk, right? So hopefully you could get through this in your home. But it's scary, and we just need to know that we have to loosen our perceptions and loosen the hold on the fear and allow for something else to happen. Allow for something new to take hold. That's all I'm really saying. So flexibility, that's the other thing with Puella. Flexibility, maybe a little too much flexibility with Puella, but be flexible right now. Don't have everything carved in stone. If you run out of shredded cheese and you have cheese slices, well, you still have cheese, right? You see what I'm saying? And if you run out of both, well, then, maybe you don't need cheese for a while. There's other things maybe you can eat, if you've stockpiled a few things. If you're a gardener, you do that naturally. You freeze things or can things for the coming year, right? For the winter. You may still have some. And so, again, allow for different possibilities right now, and it'll get us through. So Thank you so much for coming by. I'm so happy that you did. Leave comments if you want to. I do comment back sometimes. I don't see them right away, but I do see them, and I will say something. I do appreciate everyone coming here and subscribing. This is going to go up on the blog over at imsteppingaside.com. It's called Stepping Aside. There's a link below here if you want to go check out the video over there, or you want to check anything else out about the blog. The correspondences and astrological information are going to go up here pretty quick while I look at this and watch it. I'll be doing that and getting that up for today. The esoteric influences are up for the week over there at the blog, so if you want to check that out. I also cross-published it over on Patreon and on Medium, so you can check stuff out there as well. There's going to be a new Foundations in Magic thing video series go up on Patreon here coming up. I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking it's going to be on geomancy, but I'm not sure. It may be on something else. I don't know. I've kind of got some other ideas here. Maybe, I don't know. But that's still being fleshed out. So look for that over on Patreon. I do release it eventually on YouTube, but it's not for about a month. And so, in any event, I guess that's it. I'll do a video and post alert for Instagram, and I also post it over on Pinterest too. About all of this when it's going to go up, I'll do something like that. And then if anything else comes up that I need to talk about, or I need to share or anything, or if I write something that I think is interesting that you might all want to hear about, just check out the Instagram account over there. I've got a link to it below the video. And I do put stuff up there. I'll do little videos and post them there because you can do that. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, I appreciate everybody so much for coming by. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.